Hello, welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I've got 7 of these huge boulders to move, and I've got to move them from way over here where they're buried in the undergrowth, through this small gap, round a corner to here where I want to use them to create a kind of a bank or a shoulder around that mound of earth. How am I going to do it? Well, I've been practicing a little technique. I've already moved that one. Thinking back to my O-level physics, I need to, number 1, reduce the friction beneath the rock, and number 2, increase my strength. So I'm going to reduce the friction in 2 ways. The first way is I'm going to get them on tracks. These 2 big long pieces of wood will be the tracks, and the other way is I'm going to put wheels underneath them. Well, I'm not going to use wheels, but I am going to use these poles. It's a bit of old banister that I've cut up. So those tracks and those wheels will reduce the friction. I wouldn't be able to move it on the grass, but I could certainly move it on this. But how do I get it onto the wheels? Well, this is where increasing my strength comes in. And to do that, I'm going to use levers, which again is an old kind of O-level physics strategy. So let's have a go. I might reposition the camera so that you can see what I'm doing from the side. Now, I don't know how levers work. I just know that they do work. So the way a lever works is if you've got a fulcrum or a pivot, the further away along from it you get more strength. I don't know how it works. I don't know how electricity works. I just know that when I switch a light on, it lights up the room. And I know that when I use a lever, I can lift that rock. And by lifting it, I can now get one of my wheels or rollers underneath one end of it and onto the tracks, as you can see there. I've now got one end of that boulder on the tracks. I now need to get the other end on the tracks. I shall repeat the process. You'll notice I've got 3 wheels, and you'll see why in a moment. Let's get the other wheel underneath the other end. So, using our lever, again, underneath this end of the rock, we shall lift the rock up, and we shall slide the roller underneath. I'm being very careful not to put my finger on. I've got one rock on 2 rollers. As you can see, it's easy to move now. There's no way could I move that like that on grass. And now you will see the genius of the 3rd roller. As I push this along, it moves seamlessly onto the next roller, at which point I move the 3rd roller in front. I think this is how they used to move rocks, Stonehenge, but you can see there, it's relatively effortless. And slowly but surely, I will do this to all 7 of my huge boulders and get them into position. Obviously, if you're going to try this at home, do your warm-up exercises first and don't overstretch yourself. If you need a bigger lever, use a longer lever and possibly get 2 people. You could actually move this using levers. I could use the fork beneath it to move it along. There you go, a little gardening hack, how to move huge heavy objects. I'm hoping to apply a technique like this to moving my brand new huge olive trees, which I'll show you a clip of now. I've got 3 great big olives and I'm about to create an olive grove, and I need to move them. I'm hoping if I can get those rollers underneath those pots, I'll move the olives. So there we go, how to move objects like this big heavy rock using O-level physics by reducing friction and increasing my strength. It's easy.